But this, I mentioned the stock performance. It's down sharply since going public, and performance has kind of been a mixed bag. Why is that? Isn't the resale market very strong right now? What are you seeing?
Yeah, resale market is very strong. What we're seeing right now is that resale has become both unique and an affordable way to shop. And what we are providing is a very diverse selection. So we're seeing growth in, popular luxury brands. We are seeing growth in environmental and sustainable brands. And we're also seeing stuff which is very much around trends. So you see TikTok driving a lot of trends. So for example, when we see brands like Pangea, Marine Serre, and Outknown, these are up almost 100% YOY in terms of their growth. And all of that makes for secondhand being the new for the season.
One of the problems Wall Street has with the stock and the story right now is that heavier marketing spend that you're doing to drive top line growth, which is usually great if you are seeing the top line growth that has been expected. And that's not happening. Why is that? And what are you going to do about the marketing?
Yeah, so, Apple Privacy has really made mobile marketing, which is mobile for us is 80% of our business is mobile, has become more expensive. And we are investing in marketing to drive growth. And what we've shared is that the early data in Q4 that we shared in October is a very strong sort of result of that spending. So we're seeing some early positive indicators on that marketing spend. And we're coming out of a nice sort of Thanksgiving weekend as well for Poshmark.
I wanted to ask Manish about the take-up you've seen of Buy Now, Pay Later, of BNPL, and whether you think we're just at the start of that trend or if it's a bit overheated.
I think we're definitely at the very beginning of that trend. I think from a marketplace and market perspective, it's hype, but for the consumer, a lot of consumers haven't experienced it. We launched it particularly for our $50, $200 products in July, and we've seen an extremely strong take-up of that feature and that aspect of buying. And it does two things. It brings new buyers onto the table and also drives up average order value for us.
You recently bought suedeone to help authenticate items, which is always one of the big issues with resellers, especially, I think, footwear and handbags. How big of an opportunity is that for you? It's very competitive.
It's a massive opportunity. I think the demand for that segment is only going up across the board. So we are seeing, for example, our traditional luxury brands like Gucci and Louis Vuitton and Chanel trend up. But we're also seeing early trends from some of the niche brands like Burberry, Prada, and YSL, which are all up in 20-30% YOY. So we're continuing to see growth in that segment as well as sneakers for us. And what suedeone does is it gives us the ability to virtually authenticate products that are below our sort of physical authentication price threshold of $500 and broadens the set of authenticated products on the marketplace.
And Manish, in terms of geographic expansion, the next big step for you is India.
Yes, India is something we launched in September, and we're seeing some great traction in the early days, and the community there is forming very well. One of the nice things that we are seeing in India is because the market is somewhat open and they suffered from COVID, unfortunately, early on, there's a lot of physical meetups happening, and that's been the key to successful formation of the Poshmark community in India in the very early days.
Finally, I mentioned the performance since the IPO. It's got to be very disappointing to you. What do you think the market is missing, and how do you frame the weakness since going public? Do you regret doing it at this time?
No, certainly no regrets. I think the way I think about it is that we're focused on our own growth initiatives, and we are really focused on, as you said, expanding geo-wise, expanding categories-wise, and really fine-tuning our experience for the buyers and sellers. I think the two things that make Poshmark really unique, number one is our asset-light model. We don't touch any inventory that leads to 80% plus gross margins. But the second thing that I think a lot of people miss is we're probably the only marketplace in the world where sellers help other sellers succeed. And that is the foundation of our community architecture. And that's something that you can't find, whether it is a seller helping share somebody else's items, giving them some advice, or even meeting them physically to mentor. That's sort of pretty unique about the Poshmark marketplace.
Social commerce, as the analysts like to say. Manish, thank you for joining us. It's good to have you here.